Back at the end of turn 4. The Prussians stole initiative again, first acting with Hammer Fist, which he walked from his position just trying to get behind the crates here, and he was going to prepare for a charge, but turn events go for the turn. After Hammer Fist moved up, Tally Ho was played, which activated the Grenadiers. They did a walk move out from their barrier, and they used hot lead, shooting at where the alchemist and his bodyguard once stood. The dirt was played, so it was all black dice, but there were enough successes, being 4 and higher. I believe it was exactly 8 successes to slay the alchemist, and then there were another 5 which injured the bodyguard. After both those units, the lieutenant went and an attempt to, as he tried to force march his Ashigaru, which failed, so he just kept the lieutenant where it was. The hope was to either get close enough with the 3 inches over the wall to fire back at my Grenadiers, or get better dice color on Hammer Fist, which after the lieutenant went and failed to focus fire this time, but with 12 black dice slew the bodyguard, which put shaken on both the Ashigaru and lieutenant, as both the sections failed their morale. The Ashigaru activated next, and they were actually able to pass their morale on their activation. So they went to they played a blind courage. Actually, that put it back up from blue to red, which helped them pass it. And they played a hot lead to fire at Hammer Fist, which to try to help had to hit the dirt as well. It played and resulted in just a single wound on Hammer Fist. And that's all for turn 4. Alright, end of turn 5. Prussians, for their turn card, attempt to play Get To It Man and get 2 additional successes, but I didn't get any more successes, and the Japanese rolled, I think, 4 successes. He acted first with his lieutenant, which actually failed morale, so now has 2 shaken tokens, and he sent it to ground. He doesn't want it to retreat away from his Ashigaru, which opened up. The Prussians actually fell back farther for the Grenadiers, away from the line, just in case, because they were within 8 inches of Hammer Fist over here, and I didn't think he'd make it through a volley. But the volley of Grenadiers didn't slay any extra Ashigaru behind that hard cover, and when the Ashigaru went, they fired at Hammer Fist, and they did deal an extra wound, but they didn't slay him. So on Hammer Fist's turn, he charged their wall with a charge card, so it didn't cost any command points. And this did let the Ashigaru strike first. But before combat, I was able to activate my lieutenant, and since they're on a hill, was able to shoot over the combat models and fire into the lieutenant's unit with him and his bodyguard, but them being at the ground, meaning 6s, I only got 2 successes. The heavy machine guns didn't do anything there. In combat, 4 Ashigaru were able to fight back with 8 black dice. And they actually, they whiffed. They only got 2 successes. All they needed was 4. But when Hammerfist attacked back, he attempted to play his Overload card, which the Japanese player used his How's That on it, so I wouldn't get to play it. So I just attacked with my 4 red dice, and I only got 3 successes, which, with the medic, still there was one went away, so I only got 2, and I need 4, so it ended up being a tie combat with no wounds being taken. That resolves turn 5, on to the last turn. Alright, here we are, and end of turn 6, conclusion of the game. The only things really of note was the Grenadiers took a run move after getting a standing orders to make them independent, so that they only had to pay 1 to run up and get within 6 of the objective. Trying to keep them 8 away, just in case Hammerfist fell. After their activation, the lieutenant failed his morale. Tried bumping out for a command point to get it to blue. With Hammerfist there, he needed 3 successes, and yet he actually rolled none. So his lieutenant just completely whiffed again. My heavy machine guns couldn't shoot at anything at that point, so it was just down to combat, where I played a cold steel to add 4 black dice, and there were 5 Ashigaru that were able to attack back, and medic, with all of his dice, he whiffed, and he only got 3 successes, 1 shy of just killing Hammerfist, and he was able to slay 1, I think getting, what, 2 red 6s and 2 other successes? 1 blocked by the medic, and he played an Empress's Blessing, which he rolled 2 3s, so he wasn't able to block any more of the successes. So, even though the turns ended, it ended with Hammerfist being extremely lucky and getting the upper hand anyway, and tying up his Ashigaru for the end of the game, giving the win to the Prussians. So, any notes about that, Kyle?
I do not have any notes right now.
Alright, that's the end of the game.